Hello, Grace Community Church. Pastor Steve here. Today we continue our journey cover to cover, and today is May 13, and we're looking at a bunch of Davidic Psalms, including Psalm 68, 69, 70, 86, and 101. Now, when you go through the book of Psalms, there are many times you come across Psalms that have been taken and made into a picture, a plaque, or something decorative that you can buy on Amazon.com or some hobby store. I have included one of the verses, and this one is from Psalm 86. Now, this is a different translation, but it captures the same meaning. David writes this: "Teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name." Now, the reason I'm showing you this verse is because all of these Psalms, in fact, we could say the whole book of Psalms, helps us understand the nature of prayer. And so David makes this request to God: teach me your way, O Lord. And when you go through these Psalms, I would encourage you to have that attitude. So if you see David angry as he prays, understand you can express anger to God. If you see David worship and celebrate who God is, understand you can and should do the same thing. If you hear him speaking in such a way that he's declaring what he feels about his enemies, well, you know what? God's a big boy, and he can handle your feelings that way also. So as we break down this, I love Psalm 68 because it has this beautiful description that God describes, or David describes, of God, and that he's a father to the fatherless, a defender of the widow, and somebody who is family to the lonely, and freedom for the prisoner. Those are all beautiful descriptions. Now, at Grace Community Church, do we have our share of widows? We do. And what does the scripture say that we should do relating to them? Be their defender. And so that one verse is something that we can apply in our own church community. And if you are a widow in our church, I pray that you sense that. But if there's something you need, let the church help. Let us know, because we want to be that defender of the widows. Psalm 69 speaks of a common theme that happens all through the book of Psalms, that God has unfailing love. The Hebrew would be the hesed, the mercy of God. That's the nature of who God is. When you feel like you're at the end of your rope, remember, God chooses to define himself as a God with unfailing love. Now, in Psalm 70, David has a prayer which sounds an awful lot like us. Lord, please, hurry, help. David knows that feeling. We know that feeling. We want God to step in. In Psalm 86, it begins this way: Lord, condescend to us, bend down. It's basically an appeal that God would see where we are in our circumstances. Obviously, God has all the wealth he could ever use. But Lord, would you see me in my poverty? God has all the relationships he could ever be satisfied with. But Lord, would you see that I'm lonely? That's what David's asking, and you can ask the same thing. And finally, Psalm 101. I will search for faithful people to be my companions. I think that is a great desire on David's part, because who you hang out with really determines how you look at life, what your expectations are. If you hang out with people who believe from a great God we will receive great things, that impacts you. But if you hang out with people who don't believe anything from God, that will impact you also. So I would say join David in asking for faithful people to surround you. Hey, God bless you as we continue our study cover to cover through the Bible. Keep pressing on. God bless you.